So turns out, you know, that crazy guy, Jesse Lee Peterson, who's, well, he's a crazy guy. I don't know. I don't know how else to describe him. Which I feel like the crazy guy that you mixed up with Jordan Peterson. But they're like, oh no, it's the other one. Yeah, no, yeah. He had on the My Pillow guy. So we're gonna have to get into this. So yeah, I am Brentley, and this is Debunk Apostate. Let's go. Y'all were early. That was the problem. Y'all were here early. I'm here right on time. I don't even know what the hell you're talking about. So it's just, I don't even know why I'm addressing it. I shouldn't even be saying anything because it's nothing even happened.
Welcome to the Father's Day. I am Jesse Lee Peterson. Thank you all so much for being with me. Remember, the best way to support the Father's Day is by joining our membership program on YouTube or go to locals.com and become members. Thank you all.
Don't do any of that. What the okay. Why is he? Hold on. What is this? Now, I don't usually let these folks do their advertisings, but what was that?
And don't forget Punchy's coffee. I have my own coffee now.
He goes by Punchy. That's appropriate. I guess that's appropriate. Yeah, Punchy. It's like, I feel like somebody called him that, and you know, as an insult, and he didn't get it. He's like, "Oh, Punchy, I think I like that. I like being called Punchy."
Punchy's coffee. It's available on JesseLeePeterson.shop. JesseLeePeterson.shop.
He's like, usually it ends with com, but I've got, that's why it take me so long. Shop. That's it.
So I have to tell y'all, I'm a little excited. It takes a lot to get me excited. But I am about to have a discussion with someone I have wanted to have a discussion for a long time to understand how his life and how he has done so well with his
to understand how his life. I don't know.
Fitness and stuff like that. So I'm looking forward to this. I have with me Mike Lindell.
I feel like this guy's a perfect example of just, you got enough money, you can do a YouTube. Doesn't matter. You don't have to be anything. You can be a complete fucking moron and be able to do a YouTube channel.
He's known as...
I'd be example number 2. So don't, you know, if y'all think I'm being mean, I'd be the second example in the list of examples of people that, you know. Anyway.
My Pillow guy. Yes. I am about to talk to My Pillow guy.
Yes. I'm about to talk to the Pillow man.
Can you believe that? What the? And he is an adventure CEO and the author of bestseller.
I thought he said he's an Avenger. I was like, whoa. I would love to see that in the next movie. You know, just like Ant-Man and all them just like fighting all of a sudden. Hey guys, I gotta go to, where do I need to get this? I can drive the van. I can take the van and I can drive it.
In the book, what are the odds from crack addict to CEO? Amazing.
How do you mess up crack addicts? How do you not say?
Mike, thank you again for coming on. I totally appreciate it.
Well, thank you. It's an honor to be here.
And so, Mike, I met you at an event once down in Orange County, California, at a Republican event. And I couldn't believe I'm meeting. I was like, what is the My Pillow guy doing here?
Oh, yeah, the My Pillow, because they called him My Pillow. That's funny to both of them, apparently. They're like, man, My Pillow guy. That was good. That was good.
Prior to that, I didn't know you were a conservative Republican kind of a guy. Were you always conservative?
No. It's
back when I was smoking crack, I actually was quite liberal. I was both with the crack and my politics.
a long story, but we'll make it short. I didn't think politics mattered. I was an ex-addict, crack cocaine, gambling, alcohol, you name it. But and I was a very functioning addict. Too during a lot of my life, but
define functioning. because you're still. Would you consider yourself functioning now? Would you be functional at this moment? Because I don't know.
I didn't think politics mattered. I had never voted in my life. My first time I ever voted was when, on a divine appointment, I met Donald Trump on August 15th of 2016. And I go, wow, I never met a president before, but he'd be great. You know, I talked to his employees and then I voted for him and went all in. So no, I was never.
And when he says he went all in, holy shit, did he go all in? Because like didn't he like basically ruin his career because of how all in he was, right? Because he got sued, right? Wasn't that like what completely destroyed everything? Was that he was the one saying there's all this evidence of fraud in the election and everything, and there was nothing. There was never anything. And he kept on saying that there was the voting machines and all this shit, and they sued him for like billions. They sued him. It was like him, Tucker Carlson, or no, Fox News, but they blamed Tucker Carlson, and he got booted as a result. And who else was there? There was somebody else. Now I can't think. Anyway,
I didn't know. You know, back then, I didn't know a Democrat from a Republican. I didn't know a filibuster from a millibuster.
Whoa, millibuster! Damn, that was good. That was good. What is a millibuster? I don't think that's a thing. I think he just made that word up. Did he just make that word up? Yeah, he did. I knew it. I knew nothing about politics.
Yeah, that's why I was when I first started out. I had no idea about politics. Right. I had to learn along the
spoiler, guys. You still don't. You just got your brain put in the propaganda blender, and you still haven't figured it out yet.
I noticed that with Donald Trump, you're like all in for him. And why is that, and how did that happen?
For him, dude, it's so weird when the way that they say this stuff. So like, so you are all in for the cult, like, because it makes it sound like you're like all in for him. It sounds like they're talking about God. They're not talking about God. They're talking about Trump. That's fucking weird, man.
Well, you guys, I always get, if you read my book, I always get these in prayer. I get different, I call them, God answers me in prayer, and then
what? And what? What was any of that?
You read my book, I always get these in prayer. I get different,
all these, I always get them in prayer. I get what?
I call them, God answers me in prayer, and and then.
Oh my God, I've rewinded it now. What? I can't. I still. Could y'all pick up any of that? I can't. I'm not picking up anything he's laying down here.
In May of 2015, I had kind of this dream that I was going to meet Donald Trump, and remember, he had ran for president. I go, wow, the dream was so vivid. I'm going, why would I meet Donald Trump? I go, I never watched.
The guy from the show? Wait, no, Lifestyles of the Rich and the Famous. Not that other show, not that reality TV, the old show.
The Apprentice. I gambled.
That one, that's it. I couldn't think of the name of it.
One of his casinos once and lost all my money, but I knew he wrote some book, but I had no idea. I'm going, and why would I want to meet him? Well, then a month later, he announced he was running for president, came down that escalator. Well,
what is with the escalator thing? Everybody's like, that was the big moment, the escalator day. I remember that. We call it escalator day in my house. That's right. It was the whole escalator day.
I had a very vivid picture in my head, and I even told my board that time, a board of my village, said, hey, I had one of my dreams. I said, I'm going to meet Donald Trump, and here's a picture that was taken. And I even drew it out. And so then,
what? What? You drew out a picture from your dream? This is starting to get weird. I think you're making this stuff. You didn't have a fucking dream, did you?
As the summer of 2015 rolled into the fall, I ended up on a trip to Israel. I'd never been there before, and I was with this radio group. And I asked the guy on the thing, I said, what I figure if I'm going to meet Donald Trump and he's running for president, if this dream comes true, I better find out what politics is all about. Why I question him. What's a Democrat? What's a liberal? What's a conservative? And I looked it up. I Googled this stuff.
God, it's so sad. I don't even know what those words mean. I could, you could just go. You could Google stuff, man. He's like, no, I got to ask somebody. I need it explained to me. Do you have a PowerPoint that you can help me with?
And I was just so amazed. There was such a divide in the stand. It's like if you're pro-choice, you're here. If you're pro-life, you're here. If you believe this, you're here. I go, that doesn't even make sense. I said, with my friends and stuff, I had talked to them. We didn't ever speak politics. Like you're over here if you're this, and if you're over here, you have to be that.
Yeah.
What the hell are you talking about? He's like, it's crazy that your beliefs that decides what you're going to vote for as far as a politician goes. Like, what are you talking about? Of course, that's the way it is.
But I was pretty amazed at that. And then
I was amazed. That was just crazy. Couldn't believe it. That people believe certain things, vote certain ways. And then there's these categories that are divided along the lines of what you believe. This is crazy.
Got to the spring of 2016 and he was having these rallies and stuff. And I know I had a picture of me in a room with him and in his office or something. And it got to be this. So I avoided these rallies and stuff. I never went to a rally, but.
Oh my God. What is it? I wish you could get to. Okay. How's everybody doing? We all feeling okay? You feeling good? Did the comments, are they coming up on the screen? I keep forgetting. No, there they are. Okay. Yeah, we're good. Can y'all read them? Like, is it too small? How do I make it? Anyway, you know what? I'll worry about that later. How's everybody doing? Y'all doing okay? Feeling good? It's Monday, the day that shall not be named. All right, who won today? Let's see. Oh, why is it in the way? Okay, you know what? I'm going to go over. I'm going to do it over here. All right. Because that computer always giving me guff. Right? That computer just constant guff giving. Yeah, it's a guff given comp. Anyway, Pandora's Pinata won. Unless Wolfo snuck in here yesterday somehow, and the comment already disappeared. All right, who is that? Wait, happy make a homophobe uncomfortable month, everyone. That's right. Except apparently, we're not allowed to celebrate it. It's been banned. Okay, rainbows banned, not allowed. Nope, that's right. And the corporations are not doing it either, apparently, according to Osmongold, which is just devastating. I know we really don't, we need them to make money off of the Pride Month. Anyway, AR, how's it going? AR is hey, peace, bro. Peace. And Amber, how's it going? Hell yeah. Let's see. We got Deviant Outcast. What's up? How you doing? Party. It is a party. Party. Yeah, because we got Mike Lindell and Jesse Lee Peterson in the house. I don't know. You didn't think you could pack that much stupid into a single stream, but we did. We're getting there. Let's see. Pandora's Pinata. Wait, are we given a choice if we get more MAGA related content, or is this about going out and turning people towards MAGA? The first thing. Just the first one. So that to see if you want me to cover more MAGA stuff. I don't know. Yeah, I never know what to cover. It's just, I show up, push play on whatever is the last thing. I'm like, okay, whatever, fuck it. But this one was actually, I was really happy with this one. I'm going to be honest. Like when I saw that, I was like, okay, never mind. We're good. We're going to have fun today. It got me all excited. Atomic Punk, how we doing? Hell yeah. Let's see. Said, it's true if these two believe it. I feel like you could have a heuristic that is the opposite. It's like, I don't know. Does Mike Lindell think it? Because then I'm not. That's it. That's my heuristic. Gisela, hey. Why are you saying stuff I can't say? Why you come on. No, it's hey. First of all, if you want to do the bad religion thing. But yeah, anyway. All right, who else we got here? Kent, what's up, dude? Doing all right? To have on. Yeah, I don't know what to do with that. But no, that was for an earlier. Of course it was. Anyway, I'm not going to go back and read it. No. Let's see. Blood Badger. What's up? Watch out for Blood Badger. They will drain you of your blood and badger you whilst doing it. They're really irritating as they drain your blood. Hey, Burns, what's going on? What's up? Hey, my peeps. Yeah, sure. I like it. Peeps. We got to bring back peeps. Do people still say that? Is that a thing? Are the kids saying that these days? I don't know. Hellbound Hillbilly, what's up, dude? That motherfucker can afford an escalator, and y'all expect me to vote for that peasant that still climbs stairs? I know. So who do they think we are? It's voting for peasants. Get the hell out of here. No. You got to be a billionaire. Otherwise, I don't even know what we're doing here. Gay Alien, what's up? How we doing? Pillow Mike. That's it. That sounds like this rap. That sounds like his rap name or whatever. I just see him with the big gold chain, the glasses, big old, like the big Beyonce glasses. He doesn't know they're for girls. You know what I mean? He doesn't know. He's just wearing them anyway. But he's out there trying to rap. I'm Mike, and I'm here to say. Oh, I would love that. And you know what the sad thing is? I'm like joking about this. We're like 10 seconds away from him being in an actual hip hop video because they have those weird MAGA rapper weirdos, you know what I mean? That are like 90% from Florida because of fucking course they are. Where else would they be from? There's no place that would print out those idiots. You know, no. Florida, of course. It's my home. I can't help it. I was born and raised here. It was not my fault. I did not move here. Okay. I started out here.
I still really felt I was going to meet him. And then
this is so weird. After I had the dream, I was like, why am I gonna meet? Because he's acting like it's a prophetic dream, but it's just about meeting a president. It's not like it's anything to do with like God or anything. But again, they talk about Trump like he's God.
It got to be the summer of 2016. It was in July. And
why do people remember the fucking months and shit? Like, how do you, like, and this guy specifically, like, really? You can remember the months? Okay, whatever.
I was doing a movie called Church People, and I left. I got invited to the Republican convention, which was by, like I say, I'd never voted before. I got invited there by just a divine appointment. And while I was there, anyway, I went from there to California. And I remember
wait, you got invited to a Republican convention before you'd ever started voting because it was a divine appointment? They just were like, oh, that guy's probably a Republican. I don't know. It's just, what? He's dumb and weird enough to like be a Republican. I guess we should invite him. What?
Sitting on this plane, and I got this book I bought the book in one of the stores in the airport. It was just a book about Donald Trump, like a magazine. And I was in the bulkhead of this airplane. This guy sitting me next to me that didn't speak English, and I had got up to 10,000 feet, and I had a new phone, and I had just set it so that I would get, if I got an email, it would ding, a sound alert, right? Well,
what is happening? He's like, I set up a sound alert so that my phone would make a noise. It would ding when I got an email. Good, we're all caught up.
I set my phone, and I got the Wi-Fi hooked up, and sitting back in my chair there, and I opened up this magazine, and I just kind of got upset, and I shut it. And now remember, this is July of 2016.
What the hell? You got upset, and you closed it, and Jesse looks as confused as I am, which, I mean, that's just kind of a constant. Like, he's just always confused. But what the hell is he talking about? Like, is there some kind of context that we're supposed to get from, like, he was mad, and he closed the magazine all huffy and puffy next to the person that doesn't speak English?
And I said a prayer there. I said, God, I need to know if I'm supposed to meet Donald Trump or not. I need to know right now. At that moment in time.
Oh, come on. He's making this whole thing up. None of this happened. None of this. This is not real. He's so full of shit.
My phone dinged, and it was an email. Mike, this is Donald Trump. Will you meet me at Trump Tower in New York City? I'm going, what? And I'm going, amazing. And now I'm going, God? And I was just all excited, and I'm going, no, this isn't crazy. And the flight attendant goes, are you okay? I go, yes, it's a miracle. And the guy next to me, he's Korean, speaking a foreign language, like, are you okay? And I'm going, it's a miracle. It wasn't that I was going to meet Donald Trump. It was that my prayer was answered in real time.
That's
and I was
amazing.
just, I mean, it just overtook
It's amazing.
me. And
Get ready for a lot of those. Okay, that's like his main thing. Sometimes they're sarcastic, sometimes they're not. It's hard to tell. You know, you gotta parse it out. Sometimes like amazing, and he's just making fun of you. But other times he's like amazing, and he's serious about it. It's crazy.
that meeting came to fruition on August 15th of 2016. My wife and I, we were engaged at the time. It was 3 a.m. and we're overlooking Central Park. And I just started weeping. I'm going, God, what do I have to do with all this? I just felt this meeting was going to be so important for the future.
Yeah.
And then it's so weird. He's acting like it's so prophetic, right? Like, oh, God set it up, man. God had me going. I had the dream and everything, and the magazine and everything in real time. Answer my prayer, right? And then he ends up being the one that like just like gets screwed up. Like he ends up getting sued by the companies or whatever. What do you call them? The voting machines and all that. And they like literally booted him from the conventions. Like he only went to like 1 or 2, and then they like literally banned him from it. And they could see him. There was like journalists and stuff that like caught him like leaving the White House with like a couple pieces of paper and stuff, and he was like all like sad because he got booted from the White House.
I didn't have any clue. Here's an ex-crack addict, and I didn't know why he wanted to meet me or anything. And I talked to people ahead of time that worked on his staff. They said, whatever you do, don't tell him you're an ex-crack addict. And whatever you do, you're never going to meet him alone. You're going to, that's not. And I said, well, in my dream, that's the way it happened. The next morning at 10 a.m., there was about 8 of us were going in to meet him then. And they all started getting peeled off. It's in my book, Divinely. Okay, the phone rang. These 2 got to come here. This got to come here. And if you read my book, it's pretty amazing how this went down. The day before, I had met 2 people for the first time, Rudy Giuliani and Ronna Graff, which is his longtime assistant at this one place I went to. And they're the only 2 I talked to. So that Ronna Graff, she seen me, and these other guys all got kind of tied up. She says, come on, Mike, you don't have to wait for them. She brought me around the corner in his office and says, there he is. And she walked away. And I walked to him just like in my dream. And he looked at me and he goes, Mike, he said, are you a Christian? I see you always wear your cross. And I said, yes, Mr. Trump. And this is a divine appointment. And it was like talking to a friend. It was amazing.
And he told Trump, this is a divine appointment. It's like, all right, he weared it out. I'm wearing it out. Can you please get this guy away from me? Okay. Talking about divine appointments now. We didn't even have an appointment. I don't know what you're talking about.
I wasn't nervous. I was back then. I was very nervous if I met people, even that wore a tie. They made me nervous, right? And it was like 2 brothers talking that had long lost friends or something. And one of the first things I said to him, I go, I was a crack addict, and I looked at him like this, like to see his reaction. And he goes, and I said, I'm going to set up this recovery network, the Lindell Recovery Network, that's going to help millions of people get off drugs, like I was on drugs, and get them to the Lord. And he says, and I'm going to shut that border down and stop the drugs pouring in. And I talked to him for about, I'm almost an hour. And
God, it's so like the way that he talks about this, like he's just so damn excited. And wow, it's quite funny. And like for him to be like doing a crackhead impression, is that what he was doing? He's like, oh no, I'm just kidding. I'm actually not a crackhead anymore. I know I still act like I'm basically one, but I'm not. I'm recovered. I swear. I promise I am recovered.
And I walked out of that office. I go, and he never asked for money or nothing. He asked me, what's it like making my pillows and stuff here in the U.S.? He asked me for my opinion on stuff. It was
Look, we don't do that. No, nothing I make is actually made here in the U.S. We get everything from China. Jesus.
I walked out of there and I asked his employees. I spent almost a day there.
There was like a like the Dropkick Murphys. I don't know if I said this or anything. There was like the Dropkick Murphys show, and I just caught it recently. It was like there was a TikTok of it or something, and they there was somebody in the crowd with a MAGA hat on, and he was like, "I'll give you." He was like, "I'll give you something," or he's like, "You got to give me your shirt." Or yeah, because it was like I had a MAGA shirt on, something like that. Anyway, but he made like and he's like, we're really proud we make our products in the U.S. And he's like, and I'll give you, he's like, you got to take off your shirt if he's like, I'll give you my shirt. That's what it was. I'll give you my shirt if your hat, your MAGA hat, is made in the U.S. You know, since that's a big thing that Trump is doing. It was like with all the tariffs and everything. He's like, I'll give you my shirt, but if it's not made in the U.S., you got to give me your shirt, your MAGA shirt, and we'll get you a Dropkick Murphy shirt to replace it. And yeah, of course, it was made. It was like in Taiwan or something like that. You know, and he read it from the stage like Taiwan. It was great.
Talking to different employees. Hey, what I just seen, is that true? He goes, Mike, he's a great boss, great person, and they all had a story how he had helped them individually. He didn't have to do that. So I went back to Minnesota, and I was.
What's up, Charlie? How we doing? Charlie said, "Do you think Mike buys his Coke from Don Jr.?" Yeah, probably. You know, actually, no, they're too snobby for that. They'd never let him close to them. You know, like, oh no, this sloppy guy getting in here, man. No.
The media's darling, everybody. I could cross the street, an American dream on steroids. The media, all ABC, NBC, CNN. Hey,
Jesse, you gonna chime in anytime now, buddy? You get to talk too. You know that this is your show, actually.
How many more people are you hiring today? You know, veterans or ex-addicts. Mike, you know, you're an American dream, American hero, and all this stuff. Well, I went back and I did a press release that I met Donald Trump. That's all I said. I had a meeting with him. You know, here's a normal, just a citizen that got to have this meeting with this presidential candidate. And the media turned on me. The Minneapolis Star and Tribune, these were my friends. They said, they put out a story. Mike Lindell, the biggest drug dealer in the cities. And I'm going, my drug dealers defended me, going, he never dealt a drug in his life. He tried to rid Minneapolis of drugs by doing them all. And, so, you know, but it was just big.
Dude, yeah, Jesse's never going to get to speak here. That's it.
The Better Business Bureau took My Pillow from an A+ to an F. We were up for their biggest award, their highest award, their torch award. The attack started then, and they never let up. But I never looked back. I know what God had me intent to do, that My Pillow was just a platform for something much bigger. And every time I got attacked, I'm going, I must be doing something right, because this don't make sense. You know, and the media always had a problem with me because they knew me before. You know, My Pillow giving away millions of dollars to help hurricane victims. I'm doing speeches around the country. And
the media had a problem with him because he was giving millions of dollars away to hurricane victims. Is that what he just said?
Churches about Jesus and getting saved, and then here they all attack. Why? You know?
What, man? Wow. Oh, he stopped for a second. He stopped, and now Jesse gets to say something.
Amazing show.
It was amazing. I knew it. We knew it. We kind of all called it, right? That was it. We knew it was amazing.
Sorry, Mike.
Yeah,
absolutely amazing.
Twice. We got two amazings.
Got to understand it too. What's important to you now?
What's that?
What's important to you now?
Oh my God, you're just trying to crank him back up again. Like that's all. Jesus Christ! Like, come on. What kind of question is that?
The important to now, my most important thing is
well, you actually confused him with that. He's like, what's important to me is this stuff that's, well, I was not expecting that question, actually.
Is for the country is getting the paper ballots hand counted. I've been fighting an attack for over 4 years.
What?
You know, I told our president, you know, as things were, you know, I've been fighting for this since the 2020 election, and I've never stopping. And I know I love our country. I don't want to lose our country, but there was an interesting conversation that we had with, you know, the president and I become very good friends, and we're sitting one day in his office last summer.
We are very good friends now. Me and old Donnie. I call him Donnie. Yeah, he's my buddy.
And he said, Mike, he said, they're just destroying our country. They're destroying everything. And I said, sir, I said, God uses all things for good. And right now, the more they attack and people are getting their eyes opened up, they're coming into two buckets. The first bucket is the bucket of common sense. That's your bucket, sir. They're pouring in from both sides.
What the hell is he talking about? They're coming in for the buckets, the bucket of common sense. Okay. And then what? Like, he said, that's your bucket. Trump, or is he talking to, I don't know if he's talking to Jesse. He's like, Jesse, you know, the bucket, the common sense bucket, that's yours, right?
You've given them no reason to leave that bucket. You have proof of concept how you helped the whole country when we got to December of 2009.
Okay, no, he's talking to Trump. Never mind. He's Trump's like, oh, thank you.
I
don't know. He said something about I have a common sense bucket. I don't understand it either, actually. We're just going to let him go.
Most greatest consumer confidence ever with the economy and everything.
Yeah.
And I said, but there's another bucket going on.
Yeah, whatever. Okay. Well.
And that's the bucket, the biggest revival for Jesus Christ. I said, people are pouring in. People don't.
I can feel my brain cells shriveling. Yeah, I can feel my brain's doing something. I don't know what it is.
Look to God when things are going good. They look for God when things are going bad. So I tell him this, and he looks at me, he says, but Mike, he said, this country is going to be so bad, I don't know if we can fix it in 4 years. And I looked at him and I said, sir, with God, all things are possible. And God working through you, you'll get it done faster and better than anyone in history.
Yeah.
Well, look at people. He's done more in a couple months. So I'm
wow, this guy. He's just something else, isn't he? It's the way he say. He's what my grandma would call a character. Yeah, wow, he is such a character. Yeah, he's a character, all that. Like, he's a cartoon character.
Very, for me, we're in the greatest time to be alive. And people always say to me, Mike, when you spoke at the Rose Garden that time, you said God gave us grace. And I said, oh, but he has, everybody. I said, God's given us grace. It's the best time to be alive because this is changing the course we were on, the course of history. So I'm very excited about the future and what's going to be and what all this is going to. God uses all things for good for those who believe, and we're going to get to a great place.
Absolutely. So,
oh my God, what the hell was any of that? I couldn't piece like 4 thoughts together from all of that. All that talking, nothing. Not a single coherent concept.
Oh, you were born and raised in Minnesota.
Jesus.
Are you surprised, and were you surprised when so many Somalian people moved in and they started to take over Minnesota?
Yeah.
What?
Yes, it's.
I didn't realize that Somalians took over Minnesota. That's a thing that happened?
It's horrible. My friends, I lived on the streets of Minneapolis. My friends down there, they had all quit. Most of them had quit crack. Even my dealer friends, a lot of them, and they had started their businesses, and they had businesses all up and down Minneapolis there. And when the Somalians came in, this is like the Trojan horse for our country, right? And when they came in, there was supposed to be 25,000, and then they opened up the floodgates, and they came in and they pushed my friends out of the areas that I spent so much time in Minneapolis, and they pushed them out. And when you see all those fires and the destruction of Minneapolis, those were my people that I know down there. They had come up from Chicago, and then the Somalians, they want Sharia law. They want these changes.
What the hell? Wait, hold on. So now they want they're Muslims now. The Somalian Muslims want Sharia law, so they're burning stuff down. That's what I got out of that. Is that what y'all got? Is that how it happened? Is that a fact? Is that the Somalian Muslims burning Minnesota down? Is that no? What the hell is he even talking about? Is he talking about like the protests or something, like the Black Lives Matter protest? Like, which protest is he talking about?
That they have. I'll give you a story about that real quick.
Oh, great. Oh, yeah. Look, he's close. It's like, oh my God, another story. Are you fucking? Oh, jeez. Like, really? Okay. Can you hurry it up? Hurry it up.
My factory is about 25 minutes from Minneapolis in a town called Shakopee. And next to us is Amazon. Jeff Bezos has a Amazon there. And believe me, if you've heard me ever, I don't care much for Jeff Bezos. I don't. Okay. So I'm very boisterous about anything I believe in or that I know as fact.
Yeah.
So
I'm very boisterous. That's not a word? Is it boisterous? Come on, that's not. It's like he's trying to take the word seamstress and voice and put it together or something. That's not a thing.
Jeff was taking him out of Minneapolis and busing him back and forth. Well, they turned on him, and they all were picketing next door, and they were saying, "Oh, there's no air conditioning. Well, these buildings in Minnesota, we don't have air conditioning in 1 million square foot buildings. We don't need it." He makes us stand all day. Well, your line workers, they put this kid up there, this 18.
Wait, is he like trying to say like, oh, these stupid Amazon, just shut up and pee in the bottle, okay, and deliver your damn package, you lazy butt. Like, what are you? Is he seriously doing that?
Year old or whatever, this white kid, 18 years old. And I'm going, wait a minute,
Why's he got to be white?
What's this all about, really? And here comes Ilhan Omar. Here comes Congressman Omar comes trotting out from her Minneapolis to where they were all.
Did he just call her Ilhan Omar? Yeah, I don't think that's how you say her name.
Picketing. And then the truth comes out. They were complaining and on strike because they wanted Sharia law. They wanted where they get their prayer time and shut down his line and shut down the workers. And
I don't think that's right. So the Muslims were protesting Jeff Bezos at Amazon because they wanted their 5 goddamn prayers a day. And mats needed, the prayer mat needed to be provided by Bezos himself. That's right. They need to, that's company policy. They need to deliver, they need to give that to you. And they need to wash them too. They need to have a washing service. Okay.
And, and all these times, and that's what their real thing was about. Now, NBC News came over to me at my pillow, and she sticks her microphone in my face. Usually that's a little 28-year-old snob from
that's usually how they hear what you're saying, man.
NBC. And she goes, Mr. Lindell, we know you don't care too much for Jeff Bezos, but what do you think of what going on with Congressman Omar next door with the picketing? And I went just like this. I said, let it be known for the first time, and maybe the only time ever, me and old Jeff are going to lock arms against that woman. And,
oh, man. Because you hate Muslims.
And then I want to tell you one more story. You bring up the...
Oh, my good God, man. And he closed his eyes again. Every time he's like, I gotta tell you another story. He's like, oh my God, are you kidding? Come on, man. Like, I don't want. Okay, you know what? No more stories. No more stories. Let me just ask some questions. We'll have a back and forth. How about that? Let's have a back and forth. So that we can both talk on my show, huh?
You bring up the Muslims and the Somalians. When Donald Trump won in 2016, I went to CBS morning show. It was out of Minneapolis, and I get invited there. Now, I didn't know difference between Muslims and Christians. I just knew, I got saved on February 18, 2000.
Did you see his face? Hold on. I don't think even he believed that one. He's like, I didn't know the difference between Muslims and Christians. I thought everybody was all the same.
2017.
Hold on.
Get invited there. Now, I didn't know difference between Muslims and Christians. I just knew,
I think that's wrong.
I got saved on February 18, 2017. I always believed in God. I always wore my cross, even in the crack houses. But I was saved on that day, born again. Well, I get back from
dude, take a breath, man. Relax. Take a breath, okay? Just kind of, sit back for a second. It's okay. Check your pulse. Jeez Louise.
When I was with Donald Trump at the victory party in New York City, remember this is November of 2016, all the media called me up. Mike, will you come back to Minnesota and tell us why you knew Donald Trump was going to win? And I said, well, sure. And so I fly back to Minnesota and I go on CBS Sunday morning. And this gal asked me all these questions. She's a far lefty and reporter. But she was fair. She'd always ask me a question. I'd give her an answer, and she would ask me the next question. And I'm just naive. I just tell it like it is. I'm as transparent as you can get.
He's not even listening. Jesse's just like looking down. It's like he's just gonna start playing Candy Crush.
The last question was, Mike, if you're a Somalian, a Muslim here in Minneapolis, you're very worried that Donald Trump got in office. What would you say to them? Well, I went, you just tell them that Jesus picked Donald Trump and God's got, and he's picked for such a time as this, and they all need Jesus.
What was that? You just tell them that God picked Donald Trump and Jesus is God's. Choose Jesus, okay?
And her mouth dropped like, how dare you say that?
What?
Amazing.
So
I guess I missed the joke. I'm sorry. I was, I cut in.
he's picked for such a time as this, and they all need Jesus. And her mouth dropped like, how dare you say that?
Oh, because you can't say Jesus. Yeah, when people talk about Jesus, everybody gets mad at him.
Amazing.
So the headlines,
See, that was a sarcastic Mason. That was one of them sarcastic ones.
the headlines were Mike Lindell, the pillow guy, says that Somalians or the Muslims
Way too long of a headline. I don't think, what are you doing?
need Jesus. It was, and the attacks just, it's a shame
Took up half the page, just one headline.
because
Yeah.
they want, we can't go over there and change their culture or their, all their stuff. And it's really tough, everybody, when you have, even their work ethics and stuff that they do, it's all different. And
Yeah.
it's just so different. It's a different culture, not to mention that they're we're a Christian nation. And, it's supposed to be, our language of English. I mean,
Yeah.
there's so many things that common sense that shouldn't be. And
What? Hold on. We're a Christian nation because of our language. It's English. Hold on.
even their work ethics and stuff that they do, it's all different. And,
Yeah.
it's just so different. It's a different culture, not to mention that we're a Christian nation. And,
They're trying to. We're a Christian nation.
it's supposed to be, our language of English. I mean,
Yeah.
there's so many things that common
And our language is English. I'm so confused.
sense that shouldn't be. And there was only reason that
Oh, it's common sense that our language should only be English. Is that what he's saying?
he got started to put into Minneapolis. It was actually, I believe, a Republican that wanted to get Democrat votes, and through the churches invited them in. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So things, once again, politicians doing things that don't
He's just looking down and stuff. He said like 4 things this whole interview.
make sense to
But
try and get votes.
Because of
Yeah.
but what I don't understand, Mike, Billy, turn that fan off for me. What I don't
You want to turn the damn fan? Why is the fan on in the first place? I told you before we got started. No fucking fan.
understand, there are more white people in Minnesota than there are Somalian.
Oh,
Why
100%,
don't
yeah.
the white people vote out Ileana Omar and do something about that situation? Because they can vote her out, can't they?
Yeah, we can vote her out.
No, it's impossible. Like, what? He's like, what did he just say? He's like, there's more white people in Minnesota than there are Somalians. And so that means you should be able to vote her out. What's even happening? I mean, what's with all these white people voting for a Muslim? This is what the hell?
But you got to understand, this is where
So
paper
weird.
ballots, hand counting comes in that I've been fighting for. It's so corrupt in Minnesota. And, I know I've talked about it, and I'm still considering running for governor there.
Yeah, I'm gonna-
Oh yeah, you should do that. That would be hilarious.
Ask you about that.
Yeah, there's very few
You're stepping on my questions now, man. I was going to get to that.
people that I grew up in Minnesota my whole life, and I know how corrupt. You have a few counties. You're talking Hennepin County that's voting Elon Omar in. That's where all the Somalians are, and all the this craziness. They got a mayor in Minneapolis. They're the ones that let the fires go on and stuff. They're as far left as you can get on the spectrum of a Democrat, right? And then you got our Governor Walsh is the most bizarre governor ever to
Yeah.
walk the planet.
Yeah, he's bizarre, dude. Not nothing like you, the normal guy. Yeah. If you're if you think I mean, like anybody that you think bizarre is probably going to be pretty normal. I'm going to be straight, man.
So you got, that's why she doesn't get voted out. And the cheating is rampant. The cheating is beyond anything you've seen. Believe me, I know it goes on in all 50 states. I've studied it and breathed it 18 hours a day for over 4 years.
What? He studied the cheating that happens just all the time, just in every election. Just so he's moved on. He's moved on from just the 2020 election. Now it's just everybody's treating that's a Democrat because that's the only way it could be, because because there's more white people than there are Somalians in Minnesota. So it's got to be they're cheating.
Minnesota is one of the worst. Everyone's worse in a different way, but you hit the nail on the head. It's also a Trojan horse for there's more Somalians there than any place outside of Somalia in the world.
So maybe there's not more white people than Somalis. I just what is he talking about? I actually don't know. I don't know the Somalian population in Minnesota. So, I guess I gotta read up on that sort of thing. Oh, geez Louise, what the hell is going on? Look at that, family values and free kids lunches. So insane. No kids get lunches. How dare they? Who do they think they are? Just having children eating food. Evil. We're trying to cut taxes for the billionaires.
Oh, you hear of this and they're going, well, Mike, you're a Christian, you can care about everybody. I do, but don't come here and try and change what we've done.
That's right.
What we've done. You can be your own person, but I've seen what went on in Minneapolis. I've seen what they've done. My friends that are down there, there's fear. There's a lot of gangs that they're, that I mean, I could sit here and talk for hours about this.
Right.
Right. I'd rather you didn't. Could we talk? Could you not talk for a few seconds there?
And by the way, just so people understand.
Oh wait, it's divide. It's okay. Here's the. It's like the chapters are like so wonky. Mike is from Minnesota. All this is that. Mike is. What the fuck?
When we talk about politics, when politicians make decisions that don't help any of the people, I don't care if you're a Democrat, a Republican, a liberal, or conservative, when it doesn't help any of us as people, there's a hidden agenda, and it's very evil. And what people see, the more craziness they do, like Tim Walz in Minnesota, people see that and they come in from both sides into this bucket of common sense.
Yes.
And so
what the fuck? They come from both sides into the bucket of common sense because Tim Walz is just insane.
I really believe, when I went to the Democrat convention, I shaved my mustache and I went in incognito until they figured out who I was.
After 4 seconds, they walked in 4 seconds. Oh, that's the crazy guy without a mustache. That's all that is.
But I could be.
And the child, interviewed him and debated him and destroyed him. I've never seen somebody get that destroyed from somebody that young that fast. It was just incredible. You would think it was like it was scripted, you would think it's how this is this is where you could see Joe Rogan or something would be like, it's got to be a simulation because that's like a TV show happening in real life. And that one would actually make sense from that perspective, honestly.
In the heart of Chicago, which I was right in the middle of protesters. And they all knew who I was.
Oh yeah, if you don't mind, maybe like and subscribe. I'd appreciate it. Hitting that like button, it really does help. And if you're new here, subscribing. It's we do a lot of we're kind of all over the place lately, honestly. And I think I kind of like it. I like a scatter shot as far as what we cover and talk about around here.
They come up to me and they're going, Mike, they're all about secure elections and stuff that I believe in. They're not to divide their, I hate Mike Lindell because he thinks Donald Trump's the best president ever. I'm fighting for our elections too. I'm fighting for common sense. I'm the same person. Dude,
you got to let me talk. Okay, stop. So first of all, take a breath. Your head's going to pop. Okay, your head's about to turn into a zit. It's about to pop. Holy shit, man.
Person that gave millions of dollars to the inner city.
Donald Trump. He's trying to get a word in edgewise.
Trump's the best president ever. I'm fighting for our elections too.
Yeah.
I'm fighting for common sense. I'm the same person that gave millions of dollars to the inner city. I'm the same person that lived there. I'm the same person that lived in the street. I didn't change. I'm the giver. I meant what changed was the attacks by the media, the evil that's out there.
Let me ask this, Mike. This is my belief. I was stunned that Ilhan Omar was brought here as a refugee. They brought her to America as a refugee, and she was able to come in and run for Congress or whatever she is and be a part of our government. And then she turned on America. I can't understand. And as a result,
what the fuck? Hold on. Well, I gotta hear that again. Because he's saying she came over as a refugee. And he's like, and then you get to just run for Congress as a refugee. What the no? And then she turned on America and hates it because she didn't support the president that hates her as a refugee.
Run for Congress or whatever she is and be a part of
Congress. That works. Yeah, you could anyway.
Our government. And then she turned on America.
She turned on America. What the hell are you talking about, dude?
I can't understand. And as a result, I realized that foreigners should not be allowed to come here and run in our government because they have the mentality of their country and not the mentality of America.
Right. What the fuck? No. I mean, she has the mentality of America, man. America is like they said like a melting pot or whatever, but like it's actually just like everybody gets to be free to be who they are, have their culture, and still be treated equally under the law. That's the beauty of America. That's why people came here to begin with, right? And yet they're like, you shouldn't be allowed to do that. You should. It's just if you don't like apple pie and wear a cowboy boots, you don't get to run for Congress because you're not American. You're not Americanish enough,
And so if they run for government, they're going to bring in those ideas into America. What do you think about my idea that foreigners should not run for government in our country?
100% they shouldn't be allowed to run. I mean, that's just common sense. It's like,
why? If they came over and they have citizenship, even if they came over as a refugee, like she clearly did whatever the necessary steps are to be able to get citizenship, right? Because I do think you have to be a citizen, right? And so what? Who cares? It's crazy to think that they're like, oh no, you shouldn't be allowed to come here, as a refugee and then run for Congress. Because they just don't want anybody that could ever like actually advocate for people like that, that would advocate for people that are refugees and shit.
It's like illegals. If you've done something illegal, you're here illegally.
Right.
I don't care
if you've done something if you've done anything that's illegal, you're here illegally and you need to get kicked out. So you were illegal when you were doing all that crack, buddy? You were an illegal because you did something illegal.
Refugee, if you're from another country and you come here as a refugee, you should be allowed to run. I mean, you got to protect your election platform. You got to protect your elections. They're sacred.
How did you and why did you become a crack addict or a drug addict?
Good question. I can't wait to hear this fucking response. What the hell? Why did you become a crack addict? Well, because I couldn't stop. I don't know what the question. I don't know what you want.
Yeah.
Why did you do that? How did that happen and why?
Hold on. I'm trying to think of like how I could guess which direction he's gonna go. But I got nothing. I don't even know what his reasoning is going to be.
What I think, because I spent a lot of time in the inner city too, with so many of my black friends that are fatherless, and we all got along. My family,
is he really going to blame black father? Like, why? Wow.
Parents divorced when I was 7 years old. divorces were not common back in 1968.
Right.
I got put into a new school, and I was the only kid that the kid had that was coming from a broken family. So it was so awkward. I became very quiet. I didn't fit in. I felt like, you know, we'd have this. And then my mom, when she did remarry, then I had, you got two dads. The kids didn't understand. I felt inside like I didn't fit in. And fatherless is, in this country, they did a poll in a prison in Kansas and said, how many people are there? These are felons, everybody. They're in prison. Both their parents waited to got married, then had the child, and were still married while they were in prison. 0%. That's how important the family unit is, I believe. Now,
what the? Okay, I'm sorry. I hate to do this to everybody, but I'm like trying to follow. Okay. So the question was, why did you become a crack addict? And his response was, first I was hanging out with too many black people that didn't have their fathers around, and then he said that his parents got divorced, and that was unheard of back then, and so that led to the crack.
They did a poll in a prison in Kansas and said, how many people are there? These are felons, everybody. They're in prison. Both their parents waited to got married, then had the child, and were still married while they were in prison. 0.
What the fuck is he talking about? They did a poll. He's saying like, and all the people that were in prison, were their parents they married when they had the kid? And all of their parents hadn't. Is that what he's trying
to say? They're in prison. Both their parents waited to got married, then had the child, and were still married while they were in prison. 0%. That's
okay. So yeah, he's trying to say that it's divorce. It's divorce's fault for everybody in prison, I guess. Is Jesus Christ.
So important the family unit is, wow. I believe. Now,
and it's the family unit. The family unit makes it so that nobody could possibly become crack addicts. If your parents stay together, it's just that never happened.
I became a show off, and either I went talk or a show off on my and then I manifested into cocaine. There's a lot of stories, but
you manifested into cocaine? What?
Either I went talk or a show off on my 0%. That's how important the family unit is, I believe. Now I became a show off, and either I went talk or a show off on my.
I became a show off. What?
And then I manifested into cocaine. There's a lot of stories, but
because it was a show off, it manifested into cocaine. I'm so lost.
What the? Did you start out? Did you start out with pot, or did you start out?
No,
with,
I never. I hated pot. It was.
You started out with cocaine.
I started out with
Wait, what did he just? What did he ask?
Did you start out? Did you start out with pot, or did you start out?
No,
with...
I never. I hated pot. It was.
Yeah, you know, I feel like you would have turned out a lot different had you not hated pot so much. You know what I mean? I feel like that was exactly where you went wrong. That's exactly what you need, dude.
Started out.
Maybe just take the gummies. Take the gummies. If you don't like the way it tastes, stuff, take the gummies. You don't have to taste it at all.
With cocaine?
I started out with I became an addict, and like with the addiction, with owing the mafia money for football betting, but also
transcended into cocaine. Yeah, no, that still doesn't make sense. I don't get it.
So drinking and then cocaine. As soon as I was introduced to cocaine, I could get to where I wanted to be, just like that. And people,
what? It's like, as soon as I was introduced to cocaine, I could get to where I want to be, just like that. Wow. It honestly sounds like you're just kind of always there. If you're not on cocaine, could you imagine? Holy shit. If he's not on cocaine, I kind of feel like he still kind of is. But if he's not on cocaine now, holy shit, could you imagine what he'd be like on the shit?
I tell everybody, with addiction, it does the three things. It's false courage.
Peeps drove me to crack. That's right.
Everybody knows it.
And if you want to do something with somebody's crack, yeah, that's right. Go to adamandeve.com. and enter that code. Where is it? There. Okay. Go to adamandeve.com. Enter that code word Bentley and check out to get 50% off almost any one item. 6 free movies, 3 free gifts, and free shipping on the whole order. Go to adamandeve.com. Enter that code word Bentley. That's BRENTLY at checkout and get your exclusive offer. And get your butt some stuff. Adamandeve.com is America's #1 adult toy dispensary. Save yourself a trip to that sticky store and get your butt some stuff sent directly. It comes quickly, and so can you. And the packaging is discreet as well. Yeah, get your butt some stuff from adamandeve.com. And get your, I already said that. I already said the part there, so, but do it. Get your butt some stuff. They've got stuff for that. Your butt. They got it for your butt.
You can get false courage, whatever. Right. But it masks pain. The biggest thing it does, it masks pain. That deep inner pain. Okay. Yes. When
Mike Lindell, the cocaine clown. Yeah, it's like that movie, the Cocaine Bear, but it's just without the bear, just cocaine guy. It's just cocaine guy, but he still just goes crazy. It kills everybody.
I could mask that pain, and
but he dressed as a clown too, though. That would actually be even more scary.
Be out there, it would solve both my problems. When I ended up helping, and then I became a very functional addict. In my book, I say addiction.
You're not even a functional recovered person. Are you kidding me?
Affects everyone, no matter how many forks you eat with. What I meant by
Cokie the Clown. There you go. That's awesome. Hell yeah.
That I lived.
Good call.
In the streets with no fork, all the way up to being proper people with 4 forks. You know how many people come up to me all the time and say, Mike, I had addiction issues too. And they might be the big CEO of a $1 billion company or a big politician. They're afraid to say it, but they're functioning addicts everywhere. And it affects everything. Well, for me, I was a functioning addict for about 20 years. And then I got into crack cocaine, and even my dealers, you guys.
Oh, damn. So he was a functional addict till that damn crack came out. 1987. I don't know when it came out, but I feel like it was right in that time, right?
Got to hear this. The dealers did an intervention.
Then I started collecting doll heads that I would decorate and hang from my bedroom ceiling on these little hooks that I had installed. It was the 80s. We did crazy stuff.
In 2008, I was living downtown Minneapolis. I had a warrant for my arrest, and I come out of the room, and all 3 dealers are standing.
Let's see, Lindell was also incurring gambling debt. That's the building of his or the buildup of his addiction between the 1990s or the 1980s and the 1990s led to the foreclosure of his house and his wife filing for divorce. Damn. Yeah, that's rough. That's a rough, that's a bad beat for anybody. You know what I mean? But that shit causes that shit. Stay off drugs, kids. Okay. Do you want to be like this guy? You want to be like this maniac right here? No. This Wario nut job. No, you don't. Stay off drugs, kids.
They had never met each other, but they knew of each other. And I go, what is this? They go, Mike, you've been up for 14 days. We're cutting you off. And I go, I've only been up for 10 or whatever. I'm arguing. He goes, the one drug dealer shook his head. What's wrong with you? And he leaves because they were all against. They wanted me to quit. But anyway, I go, what is this, an intervention? He goes, call it whatever you want. So my friend from the project of Chicago.
Hold on. He said he was up for 14 days. Is that what he just said? And he's like, fuck you. I was only up for 10. That's just 2 business weeks. It's fine.
His name is Joe, and downtown in the streets of Minneapolis, he told everyone, I didn't know at the time, you don't sell to this guy. You see some white guy with a
deep state. How you doing? He's like, Cokie, the magic crack. Cokie, the magic crack clown.
Mustache. You don't sell to him, or we're coming after you. So now I'm upstairs, and the last dealer, Ty, he sits down and he goes, how much crack you got left? And I look, and he tries to wait me out. You guys, I look over and he fell asleep. It's 2:30 in the morning and I'm carpet farming. I'm out of crack, scraping my pipe. I see you sleep.
Carpet farming is when it sucks that I know this so well. You check your carpet like a lot. and then you start putting pieces of saltines in there by accident. And then you're like, oh, that tastes bad. And then it wrecks your glass pipe. Anyway, it's a mess.
Get down the streets of Minneapolis. For an hour, I couldn't get crack anywhere. I came back upstairs, and he's waiting up for me. He said, how'd that work out for you? And I'm all upset. And he goes, man, you've been telling us for years.
I was homeless for a while. Okay. So, it just, and that's pretty much the only thing to do when you're homeless. So don't blame me.
Years that you're going to quit.
Blame capitalism. That's right.
Someday, and you're going to come back and help us all out of this addiction world we're living in. And he goes, we're not going to let you die on us. He goes, give me your phone. I'm going to take a picture so you can put it on that book you've been bragging you're going to write someday. That picture is on the cover of my book, everybody. And 2 of those deals.
Oh my God. Oh my God. What the hell happened? From crack addict to CEO. Mike Lindell, and then back to having lost everything because you got sued by a voting machine company.
Are born again Christians that work for me right now and change life.
And so how were you able to overcome overnight? You quit drugs overnight. Long story short, and because of time, how were you able to quit overnight?
Jesus. How much you would have bet it was Jesus.
Yeah, that was a year later on January 16, 2009. It was a prayer to God. Even though I didn't have this personal relationship with Him, I would always pray. And I said, and I knew that I had a big calling. Everybody, we all have big callings. But I knew if I went one more day, that someone else would be called, someone else would be picked for whatever was the rest of my life would be. And so I prayed that night, and my prayer was, God, I said, if you have this calling for me this day, I'm going to wake up tomorrow and never have the desire again for any of these addictions. And I said, and then I'm all yours. Well, I woke up in the morning and my prayer was answered. I go, something's different. I've never had the desire was gone. Now I did go, a couple of months later, I went to a church where I wanted to find out why I was an addict.
The desire was gone. Okay.
In the first place. And that's where I told.
That's what rock bottom does, actually. It kind of removes that desire, and then the discomfort of life kind of outweighs the perceived comfort that immediate fix would bring. You know what I mean? And then you just kind of keep going from there,
told you a lot of it came from, the broken home.
That's what we call a threshold moment. You know what I mean?
That I had and the fatherlessness. And so that's where it was. It was the grace. God gave me that. I thought I was saved at that time because it was so different. I'm going, wow, I don't even feel it.
Look, he says, Jesus, I'm going to be mad. I'm going to be pissed off. You better say Xenu. Okay. It's like lizard monsters are much better at helping people get off,
doing any drugs. They're doing, it was just gone. And it was very exciting.
So let me ask.
You just seem to stay very excited now, don't you?
When you were a drug addict, did you live on the streets? Or were you living in your own, were you living in your own house or apartment? Or were you like a street drug addict?
No. Were you a street kind? Or did you live in an apartment or something? What?
Oh no! For 20 years, I was married, had raised a family. That was the cocaine, and I owned a bar for 13 years. Not a good place for an addict.
My goodness, this dude just started out with tons of money. It seems.
I was a very functioning addict, like I say.
Okay.
I owned a bar, so then when it was devastating when I had to sell the bar. And,
that would be devastating. Oh my God. Oh, look at his dad.
And at that time, I switched to crack cocaine, which had a lot,
which is way better. You just want to up that.
Lot to do with it, and
it's weird when he's like. Then I switched over to that. Like he was just like. Then I decided it's a phone plan where he's like, we switched to bundle, and then we put it all in a bundle. It's like I just switched over to the crack kind. I was like, you know what? Let me move over to this one over here. It's just seems like a better deal and stuff.
I sold the bar in 2003 and I invented my pillow in 2004. Now people say I didn't quit crack till 2009. Crack addicts and stuff go, that's impossible. This is what God did to me. It was like a separation of two people. Over here being my addiction, And over here I wouldn't go to those shows high. There's no way I could be tweaking out windows with doing pillow shows and stuff. So if you read my book, it's like this.
I don't know, man. It's you almost seem like you're tweaking out now.
Miracle of this even coming to fruition while I'm being an addict at the same time. Then it all collapsed in like 2007. In 2008, I was in the streets for probably off and on different month, but it wasn't in the physical.
What is it for a month? Okay. He's like off and on for about a month. He was on the streets.
I'd be living in, my drug dealer's place for, I'd stay there for a couple weeks or whatever. Or, I've been in.
What the hell? Like, okay, so your drug dealer's like, yeah, you could stay with me. But what the hell kind of drug dealers did you have?
Probably 4 of the worst hoods in the United States: Milwaukee, Kansas City, Memphis, and Las Vegas. I've lived there for, even my drug dealer back home would say, get out of there, you're in such danger. But I had just no fear. And I look back now and say, wow, God protected me during that time.
So let me ask, so you were not raised with your father. So
that's what caused the crack. Yeah, we've been over this.
Did you?
Stepfather.
I'm sorry?
Stepfather, I came on 2 years later. So yeah.
So did you finally reconcile with your real father, your earthly father? Did you ever reconcile?
Oh yeah. We were never. He just wasn't there. But yeah, we would reconcile, and he passed away a few years ago, 3-4 years ago, I guess. And actually, he passed away the day after my wedding, and 2 years ago.
Oh, okay.
But
that sucks. Sorry, honey. No, we don't get to do the honeymoon. We're gonna do. Actually, you know what? For the honeymoon, let's go to a funeral. Like that sounds fun, right? We could do them. That could make.
Yeah, we reckon. I never got. Jesus. There were so many father issues there, but I would say over the last 10 years
or whatever.
Just like he should have died, and I think that God kept him alive.
Maya's like, I love the look on Jesse's face, which is just like this. That's it, right there. That's my impression of.
So we could become closer.
Nice. And did you forgive your mother for bringing other men into your life?
Yeah. When I
what kind of questions are these? Huh? Did you forgive your mother? What is this, like therapy? Did you forgive your mother for bringing other men in your life? Okay.
Got saved on February 18, 2017.
Mike, you can back up. You're facing too close to the camera. You're taking up the entire square here for a second. It's just like he goes back and forth. He's like, and then we got up. It's like, whoa, man. Hey, back it up.
All of those forgivenesses were gone. I mean, it was so easy for me.
What? All the forgivenesses? Is that what he just said?
Yeah. When I got saved on February 18, 2017, all of those forgivenesses were gone. I mean, it was so easy for me.
What is? I have the hardest time understanding this guy. I'm going to be fully honest here. What the hell is a forgiveness? Like, it's like all those forgivenesses. Like that, you can't pluralize forgiveness.
God has forgiven me, and I even forgave myself for terrible things I did in the 1980s that I would never do against my moral compass. And things that I could never forgive myself for.
Yeah.
And so
you see him begin to act like he's about to say something, and then he gets like annoyed, and it's just like, forget it. He's just gonna keep going.
I never do against my moral compass.
Wow.
And things that I could never forgive myself for.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Oh God, that was perfect. That was perfect.
I forgave myself for all of that. And one of the things that I see a miracle, everybody, I got to tell you this is.
Oh my God. And you can see him. Really, another story? You're going to tell us another story now. You haven't even finished the last story. Now you're going to tell us another. Oh my God. Jesus Christ.
Is with my record, I never thought I could come within a mile of a White House, right? Well, I was a big Elvis Presley fan, huge. It was my first concert as a little kid. And there was a famous picture of Elvis Presley and Richard.
Wait, your first concert was Elvis Presley? How old are you? Hold on, what the fuck?
Nixon. And I'm going, wow. And I didn't think, wow, you got to be a president to meet Elvis Presley. It was the other way around. I go, wow, I'll never be an Elvis Presley to be able to meet a president. It was in my head like, wow.
What the fuck? What? I'm so confused. I'm never going to be an Elvis Presley to be able to meet the president. I'm so lost.
I think, wow, you got to be a president to meet Elvis Presley. It was the other way around. I go, wow, I'll never be an Elvis Presley to be able to meet a president. It was in my head like, wow.
Not. It's the most incoherent shit is coming out of this guy's face right now. This is just
how fortunate was Elvis to be able to meet a president. Now, you guys, when I finally was invited to the White House in 2017, after I was saved, I walked in that door and the first picture inside the White House is Elvis Presley and Richard Nixon.
Get the fuck out of here.
And I just got goosebumps. And I went and sat down, and there was 10 of us invited there for this manufacturer summit. The President Trump comes in, sits next to me, and we go live to the nation, and you only see us two. All my friends at home are going, some of them still on crack, going, what is this crack addict sitting next to the president?
And like, what?
It's Trump, though, man. It's not like, come on. I mean, you're like, what is this crack addict doing with the It's Trump? Okay, come on. That's the only kind of people he knows. What are you talking about?
Because this would be impossible.
Amazing. So let me ask.
Amazing. I better get this out real quick. I got to start talking to real fast. Otherwise, I'm never going to get a question out because this guy's just going to keep on talking and keep on.
Excuse me. Do you have perfect peace now?
What, man? Yeah. You can't tell. You can't tell how peaceful he is. Yeah, he seems like somebody that meditates 3 times a day, man. Totally just zen. He's just a zen kind of guy. Perfect peace. Holy shit.
Do you have perfect peace?
He doesn't even know what the hell he's saying.
I have to pray every day and I stay in the Word. But I do have a peace that even though I've been attacked and
No, the answer is no. It's definitely not perfect. I think would be, but he's like, I got a piece of a piece, kind of like maybe a fraction of a piece of some peace.
My fortune's gone. I've done what God's asked me to do, and
You said my fortune's gone. Oh, that's sad.
I'm going to keep going, and I do have a peace about that. Do I still worry? I still worry about my employees and my pillow, and I worry about them.
My pillow.
I tend to worry more about others than myself because I feel protected by God, but I got to give it to Him.
This tree is gold crack.
And have that peace.
Good. That's the best kind. That's the best kind. We call it. We call it. Oh damn! I can't think of it.
And,
so you don't.
For a guy that could never speak.
I was gonna say something gold like rush. Damn it! Never mind.
In front of people.
What is it called when it's like a gold rush? Yeah, gold rush. White or something. I don't know. They're called gold rush white. There we go. It got there. It just took me a second to put it all together.
God sure gave me a peace about doing that.
And so, do you have perfect peace?
Wait, you're re-asking the question, Jesse? Really? He's like, you got perfect peace, though. You got that guy?
Well, I don't know if anybody ever has perfect peace. I have a peace that knowing I'm going to heaven, that I'm going,
It's not perfect, though. It's actually pretty imperfect.
For eternity. I don't have, I want to get as many people to join me as possible, my loved ones. And do I get frustrated sometimes with...
It wouldn't be heaven to them if they had to go with you. Okay, I'm just saying.
I want to shake people, some of my own relatives, and go, come on, what's wrong? Look at me. I got through it, God. But
exactly. No, you said, look at me. And you're like, exactly. I'm not doing whatever if you believe it, if you think it, if you do it, I'm doing the opposite. Okay. Have you seen your face is about to pop right now. Okay. You're going so crazy.
The grace of God. And
why don't you drop your anger so you can have perfect peace? Why not just drop the anger?
What? What, Jesse? Is he like gonna start? Hold on, I gotta go. What?
I got through it, God, by the grace of God. And
why don't you drop your anger so you can have perfect peace?
Yeah.
Why not just drop the anger?
Lose the anger, you weirdo. Why are you holding on to anger like that, man? Why don't you come on? You get perfect peace if you drop the anger. Everybody knows that.
Well, I guess I think my anger, any anger issues. I mean, it takes a lot, but I think I think a lot of that left me when I was saved. When you talk about anger, I was never an angry. And people that know me, I didn't have this anger. But
what was that, dude? What is Jesse doing? He's just assuming that it's like it must be because of the anger, and that's the problem. What the fuck? Where did that come from? What was he doing that made him think it's all the anger? Why don't you just drop the anger, dude? And then you can have the perfect peace.
I was surprised there was I guess I had blinders on there, but I think I was very much freed of an anger demon that would be there. I think that's long gone. But I believe anybody can get angry. Jesus got angry when he flipped over the tables.
Yeah, he whipped people and everything. Yeah, flipped tables, whipped people. And if you want to get some whippings, but like a fun kind, like a sexy time, fun kind of whipping, go to adamandeve.com. Enter that code word Brentley at checkout to get 50% off almost any one item. 6 free movies, 3 free gifts, and free shipping on the whole order. Go to adamandeve.com. Enter that code word Brentley. Okay. Just a quick one. I don't know. I got to get in so many. It's a thing.
Remember?
But since anger is not of God, and anger separate you from God.
What is happening? He wants to debate. That's what it is. He's like, I gotta just start acting like he is angry or something, so I can shame him.
When he flipped over the tables, remember?
Yeah. But since anger is not of God, and anger separate you from God and keep you away from God, why don't you just drop it so you can be one with God right now?
Just drop it, Mike. Drop it. Look at how confused he is. Are you saying I'm angry? What?
Well, I think I have done that. And when you say anger, I didn't know where are you seeing anger?
Where are you getting this from, man? This is kind of out of the blue. Okay. I was just having a great old time telling a bunch of stories and stuff.
I'm sorry.
Where are you seeing the anger?
No, I'm asking, do you have it? And you said, yeah, you have some. I guess.
I don't think I have. I think I got rid of that.
What? I didn't think you never asked that, Jesse. You said you have that, and why don't you just drop it? Because then you can have perfect peace. Yeah,
I ever had it, but then I had it when I got married. My wife called me out. She said, you still have some deep-rooted anger. But when I got saved on February 18, 2017, I think I let that go. There was a lot of forgiveness for things that I had done and then also for my father, for my mother, all that, I believe, was
oh my God. He's just not even, he's gotten into seven half sentences.
There was a lot of forgiveness for, things that I had done and then also for my father, for my mother, all that.
Mother too. Yeah. The mother,
it was a complete release. I have enemies. The reason
a big release. That's what I'm saying. And if you want a big release, just go to adamandeve.com. And I'm just kidding. We're done. Too many ads. We gotta move it.
And I can get along with even the ones that attack me every day. I forgive them and I can deal with them. I don't get angry towards them. I guess 2 years ago, everybody, you all see me get angry at a lawyer in a deposition. And I believe I said the word, called him a something. And it made national news because how could this Christian guy get angry? He attacked my employees. And that wasn't an inner anger. That was
what the hell is he talking about? He got angry and yelled at somebody. It was a lawyer. He got angry at a lawyer.
Anger. How dare you bring my employees into it? He's
got a heart for his employees. Okay. He loves those employees.
So
they're a family there. Okay. At My Pillow.
Just anger. And then there's one that you can be set free of that's deep rooted. And to get that perfect peace you're talking about. But I think anyone could be upset that someone's unjustly attacking someone that I care for, which are my employees.
Which is easy for you to accept or believe that you are a sinner, or all your sins have been forgiven?
Hold on. Dude said, wow, Lindell got saved the moment he found it convenient to fleece Christians for cash. Isn't that wild how that happens? That happens quite often, actually. The timing is incredible for that sort of thing.
For me, the sinner part was easy. I knew I was a sinner. I mean, we're all sinners, and they are.
But how about now? Today in your life, which is easier, to believe you're a sinner or all your sins have been forgiven?
Which one, Mike? Which one? There's only one right answer, too, man. Get it right, okay?
I think it's all our sinners have been forgiven because, but I don't use that as an excuse to sin. There's people that do that going, hey, my sins are going to be forgiven. I'm going to run out and sin. I don't consciously sin, but it's nice.
That was the most unhinged shit. Hold on. I want to see this laugh again.
To sin.
Wow.
There's people that do that going, hey, my sins are going to be forgiven. I'm going to run out and sin. I don't consciously sin, but it's nice to know that they're already forgiven. And I think that for me, it was.
Yeah, I don't consciously sin, but it is nice to know that all my sins actually are forgiven. For me,
it was harder for me because I use mathematics to show that God exists.
Oh, good. Oh man, I would love to see your mathematical fucking proof from Mike Lindell.
And that's my book. Hence my book, What Are the Odds? In my book, I say, I would have stuff all my life happen that a 1 in a million, a 1 in a billion, or this is impossible. When do you add them all get together and you consider it a miracle? So for me, I had 14 near-death experiences. I've been everywhere from no forks to four forks. God was always chasing me, and I was always saying, my incorrigible self, show me more, show me more, show me more. He would show me miracle after miracle after miracle. I'd each say, show me more. It wasn't until you show a crack addict that all of a sudden is friends with a president. I'm going, this is impossible without God. Yeah. And then it leads up to February 18, 2017. And God had showed me enough. I'm going, I'm all yours.
Let me ask this because of time. I read in your bio that you've been married 3 times, right?
What does that mean? Like, hold on. He's like, hold on, let me ask you this because of time, because you just keep on fucking like, geez, Louise, man. Now, you know, I got to cut out 7 of my questions. You get that? That's why I'm saying that for time, I'm going to skip all the way to this one, since you can't just answer a question.
Right. Yep. And why so many times?
The first time was 20 years. And that's when we were both.
Wait, hold on. What did he ask?
Been married 3 times, right?
Oh, you've been married 3 times. What the hell, Mike? What's with all the anger and all the divorce? What's up with all the angry divorcing?
Right. Yep. And why so many times?
Shame,
the
Mike.
First time was 20 years, and that's when we were both full-blown addicts. That was I raised 4 kids, and
you raised 4 kids as full-blown addicts.
And we, and when that divorce, there's a lot, you'd have to read my book, but she couldn't.
I will. I actually do have to read his book. Holy shit.
We were basically making the pillows, labeling them in our living room. It was literally lights out. And it was.
What? We were labeling our pillows in our living room. It was lights out. What?
Over, and it was over both with us.
Oh, okay. So it's lights out, over. It's over for us. Okay.
And both with everything.
I paused it too quick. Sometimes I do that.
It was like you could come back from that would have been very hard. And I told her when we got divorced, it was very amicable. I said, you know what? I will give you this money every month, and if every time comes to my pillow, I'll try and save that. But I know, we've got to move on, separate, and I quit everything.
Literally lights out. Yeah, that's just, there's nothing going on back there. It's just,
thing. And she's, was still using, but that's in the book. The second one was for 20 days.
Oh, she said she's still using.
And it was very much
what happens in Vegas, you know what I mean?
We were unevenly yoked. I guess personally, I wasn't saved yet, but it wasn't meant to be. It was, I think, a lot of that. She was still full-blown addict, and I was I had been 5 years out of addiction or 4 years, and
What you got with some? You've been 5 years out of addiction, and you got with a full-blown addict, and decided to get married, and it lasted 20 days. Is that what he just said?
and I guess I was reaching for something that wasn't of God. And so the 20-year marriage, the 20-day marriage, then you had the marriage I'm in right now, which was 2 years ago, but we dated for, I think, 9 years.
Nice.
I mean, dated like
Nice. That's good. That was a good one. Yeah.
like in the
I
Bible.
like that. Jeez Louise. Oh my God. Dude, which is it? 5 or 4? I don't think you know. He doesn't know. What you think you know?
Well, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
I mean, it was very much it was like a reboot.
And does your wife? So you have children only with the first wife, or do you have children with
That's correct.
the first
No,
wife?
just
The wife that you have now, does she obey you?
What?
No.
Did he just ask if his wife obeys him? Wow, man.
No, we
Is that a joke question? Is that I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get the type of joke.
we're both alike in so many ways because we're both, I don't like someone I went like a marriage and we work on it every day. We read our Bibles every morning. We read our marriage books every morning. We have arguments and fights? Absolutely. But
I know. Yeah, at least they laughed. Right? Like, because I'm what the. But he asks. But see, here's the thing, though. He asks stuff like that, and then wants to get into like the debate about why you should be controlling your wife, and if you're not, then you're not a good Christian. It's crazy.
she'll push back. A lot of our arguments are fights because she's got very good where God will show her, hey, we shouldn't be around this person or do stuff with this person or business.
It's called discerning of spirits. Okay.
But with her, our biggest argument will be, I'm intertwined there. I can't just cut it like this because you have to use common sense to when you're, in business with different people and you find something out, you've got to be very tactical sometimes about it and not just, that's it.
So I'm trying to piece this together. I'm sorry. I know this has been, it's just a lot of him yelling and then trying to figure out what the hell's going on. So he's saying all their fights, or most of them fights, are because she knows there's people that they're working with that they shouldn't be working with. And so instead of cutting it off, just full stop, she has to ease them out of it. She's got to have the conversation, maybe do the compliment sandwich that ends with, we got to go. I don't know. Is that what it said?
She'll want it done right now. And I'm going, what would you do? And will you get rid of them?
Oh, he's the one that wants to slow it down.
That's right. Is it difficult being married to a woman that will not disobey you? Will not obey you, because God said to the wife to obey your husband.
Here we go. Getting into the fight. Here we go. He wasn't joking. Okay, before, I know they laughed, but he was being serious. He's like, God said you got to obey your wife like she's basically your property,
Is it difficult being married to a woman that will not obey you?
No. When I say obey, we will talk about things. I don't know if when we say obey, what I mean by that is she'll push back on things that maybe I was going down the wrong path. She's the one that really led me to the Lord, going, hey, you don't have a personal relationship. And I go, I believe in God. Don't tell me that. So I think it's a difference between when God said obey in the Bible. I don't, she's not like, hey, you go do this, you go do this. Yeah, absolutely not. It's like, have your man's back. She does that more than anything. I've never seen a person where there's not one part of her that would not have my back.
And how do you, for guys who want to get married or thinking about it or getting married, how do you deal with the hell in her when it comes out? You know how women get angry about.
How do you deal with inhaling her when it comes out? What the fuck? Hold on, is that what he said?
For guys who want to get married or thinking about it or getting married, how do you deal with the hell in her when it comes out? You know how women get angry about nothing, they're bitching about nothing,
What the fuck is his problem? What the hell is happening?
and they're never satisfied. How do you deal with the hell when it comes?
Oh, the hell when it comes out of the woman. And again, he thinks he's he thinks he's joking. He's not joking. He literally hates women.
Out of her.
And let's not forget the timing. The walls could be crumbling, and the woman will bring up, we have to, in 2 weeks from now, we have to fix that tree out in the west corner there. And when is that going to get done? I'm going, does it matter right now?
Right.
I mean, this is something, everybody, you guys out there, it's just common. We don't understand it, but you just, you can't, you can react to it and blow up, or whatever, but that ain't getting nowhere. And different couples, there's a way you have to deal with that. And it's not even.
You don't understand. She needs to obey you. Okay. You're the boss of her. Okay. And it doesn't sound like you're getting it.
I don't even believe it's a reach out for attention. I mean, it's like, what's important to them at the time. Here's what I think. I think a lot of women, they count on the man, no matter what's happening around them. Oh, they're the anchor, they're the rock, they're going to get through it. But then their thing is because it's so important to them, but it can look so trivial to the guy going, are you kidding me? And that can become a problem if you let it.
Yeah.
Don't let it, because that thing to them.
Jesse wants to talk so bad, and he's just not able to get a word in edgewise.
That they're just trusting you that you're going to be able to get through everything you're dealing with.
Yeah.
But they want you to acknowledge their little bitty problem that they think is so big.
Yeah.
Because why? It's big to them because they count on you to solve the big problem.
So do you
take it as a compliment? Take it as a compliment.
Do you believe in the order of God and Christ? Christ is man, man over woman, and woman over children.
I love the women just get to be over the children. That's it. Hey, you're better. You're higher up on the list than the child. So I mean, hey, that's something, right? You should feel happy about that.
Oh, I don't know. I think in a marriage you got to have, God is number one, and then the marriage is number two.
So do you believe that order?
You did that? No. Now you're in trouble, Mike. Okay, it sounded like you just said God up here, everybody's equal. That's fucking wrong, dude. And Jesse's about to lay it down on you.
You follow and love that order of God in Christ, Christ over man, man over woman.
And then,
yeah, I don't know. I guess so. I mean, I didn't know. I didn't even.
I guess so. I never really thought about it. It's just,
that was a thing in the Bible. I just thought it was, here's God and here's the couple, and you put God first, and then you get your. So did the woman change those words?
Yes, she tried to put the woman over the man, but God said,
"Wow,
man over woman, as God is over man." But let me ask,
wow.
Women.
He's like obsessed with this stuff too. Like, he says this to like every guest at some point.
Do you agree with me that women were created to lead and not to follow and not lead? Women are supposed to follow. It's not in their nature to be leaders, but followers. Do you agree with that?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I think
making him uncomfortable. I don't know how you make this guy uncomfortable ever, but he's looking at his wife right now. Oh, sorry, honey. He's asking me difficult questions. I don't really want to go down the direction that women are all followers because they can't lead, they can't think for themselves, so they got, oh my God.
You go back in time, it's been like that.
He's literally looking over at it.
I think, but I think there's, I mean, you're putting me on a spot there. Do I believe that if I talk to women out there, they'd say no? Is that the way God intended?
Have you never watched the show before that you're on, man? He puts everybody on this spot. This is the one spot that gets put on everybody.
We'd have to find out from God. I mean, I do believe
they'd have to find out from God. What? Hold on.
They know. Is that the way God intended? we'd have to find out from God. I mean,
Yeah, you guys got to find out from God. You got to ask him, like, God, what do you think about this? Is that cool?
I do believe in that God set it up for the man to be the protector, the provider, whatever. I do believe that part. And I believe in a traditional marriage. I don't believe in all this other stuff.
Right.
I think it's been proven over and over again. A man is a man, a woman is a woman. And if they stay together and have kids, the family unit gets you closer to God, and things are more beautiful.
So
that's what we've gotten away from. Yeah.
So you do agree that women were created to follow and not to lead?
I'm just going to keep asking you the same question as if you didn't just spend all the time answering it.
God said to the man, every time you listen to the woman, you're going to suffer. You notice that every time you listen to a woman, you suffer?
No, I don't notice that. That's actually what? You ever noticed every single time you listen to a woman, you suffer? What the hell happened to you, man? Like what the hell women were you listening to?
Well, I don't know about that. No, and I don't know. You're throwing things out of the Bible. I don't even know how. For 100%, I'd have to see that.
I don't think that's in the Bible. I think that's just out of the good book of Jesse Peterson. That's all that is.
Remember, God, when Adam listened to the woman, God said to him, because you listen to the woman, you're going to suffer.
I don't think it says that. That's not. Did God say, because you listen to that bitch, now you're going to suffer? Okay. No, that never happened, as far as I know.
And so now every time the man listens to the woman, he suffers.
Chapter and verse, Jesse. Chapter and verse.
You agree with that, right?
No, then sometimes I listen to the woman and got me from avoiding something really bad.
Oh, what? Oh, now you're really gonna piss him off. Okay. Now I know you're laughing like it's so funny and everything. You're gonna piss Jesse off right now.
I think that there's
He's like, what?
Would you ever follow a woman?
Oh yeah. I
you
think
would.
He's so mad. You would.
I think there's leaders out there that have done great things as women. Where I would follow, and I think they have traits. One of the things I've seen women with more that are more.
Women do have traits. That is true. That is actually, yeah. No, they do have traits.
Multitaskers than guys.
Well, they're crazy.
I'm gifted as a multitasker.
They're crazy.
You know, such thing as multitasking. You can only do one thing at a time.
See what I mean? Like it's like, is he joking? He's not. He's not joking. He just laughs, and then he gets all serious again, and then talks about how much he hates women.
But I just I think that if this is the way God intended, but there's also I'm seeing would I follow a woman as a leader? Absolutely, but it would have to be
Mike.
I'm mad now.
You would follow a woman?
As if she was the right leader, if she's done the right things.
But that doesn't exist, though. No such thing as a great leader female.
Wow. God, he's a piece of shit. And he's such a piece, like even Mike Lindell, who is like far right nutbag. And he's even like, I don't know about that. Now that's just, so women are always like, if any woman leads, that's evil. Like it's no such thing as a good woman leader.
If we could find some here.
Multitasking is a myth. That is true. That there's no, you're not good. You're not driving good when you're texting at the same time, okay? Or playing your crossword puzzle. Definitely don't do the crossword puzzles while you're driving. That's just a bad idea, okay?
Donald Trump I call Donald Trump the Great White Hope, right? He is from God. But the one thing
why is he the white? What's the white part? Is that? Shouldn't he be orange? He's the Great Orange Hope.
Only one thing I disagree with him is that he's putting women in leadership role, and it doesn't look right. It makes the men look weak. And it takes away from the man and the authority of the man given to him by God. And then I noticed that the president has this woman called Paul.
It's like all leaning over out of frame. Like just, and he's like, I don't know about all this, man. It's just
Paula White. I don't know if you're familiar with her.
I know her. Yeah.
I could not believe that Donald Trump put a female over him as his appointed pastor, knowing that this woman is insane. She has no sense at all.
You're talking to Mike Lindell right now, man. And have you met you? Have you met you?
Yeah, I don't know all about that, but I will say the other thing you said first about.
Yeah, I don't really know about that. She's insane. You're saying she's insane. Yeah, I don't know about that, man. I'm just
Donald Trump. I know most of the people around him. What he does, the one thing he does is he will take the person he believes is best for the job, and it doesn't matter woman or man, black or white, or whatever.
Man.
And
you are picking him off.
And he doesn't do it because you got to hire this many women or this many. You know what I mean? He does it because he believes that they're the right person for a job, and he just doesn't care what color or who they are, man or woman. And it just so happens you are correct right now, especially his direct assistants. Most of them are women, and
that's awful.
But
that's awful.
That's awful.
Yeah, they're not the leader. These aren't the leader ones. So these aren't the leader ones. These are the ones that are serving him, his assistants. And now you're talking about. You look at the one.
I'm sorry, I misspoke. I'm sorry. No, those are his assistants. They're under him, so it's okay. It's not awful.
Ones and his secretaries. Most of them are men. When you talk about all them secretaries, I mean. You got and then as far as
you got all them secretaries, what the hell is happening?
Paula White, she was around in his first term, correct?
She was loco then.
What's that?
She was loco then.
Loco means crazy, Mike. Mike, loco means crazy. It's Spanish.
Same.
he even clarified it for him. I mean, that means insane.
Yeah, I don't know what all the stuff she did or did too, but you got to realize that I didn't get real close to the president until 21. I knew him all there back then, but I didn't converse with him all the time. I didn't even have his phone number, so I'm kind of out.
I didn't even have his phone number. Sounds like you're kind of mad about that. That sounds like
outside looking in. I seen Paula White speak once at a church. And back in Minnesota, the church where I'm from, and it was quite a sermon. I will say that it was like pretty out there. This is the most awkward thing I've ever seen. What is happening? Like he sounds like he's scared now. Like he doesn't know. It's like, it was quite a sermon. It was good. And he's like, what? He's like, I mean, like quite a crazy like sermon. Nuts. I think wasn't she an ex-addict? I don't know when you say, I don't even know. I thought she was an ex-addict.
I don't know. I didn't know. I would never have her in my.
We find another race. Yeah, we've got two good ones here,
As a pastor, would you ever sit under a woman pastor, preacher, or whatever?
Oh, I look to. I've never seen that. I mean, for mine, it's always been men.
Yeah.
He doesn't know any of the rules. That's so funny. And Jesse just asked you these questions, and again, there is a right answer to these questions, and he just asks you straight, and then he starts just getting mad at you if you don't answer exactly the way he wants you to. It's so funny. Gotta love it.
And I
always forget. I gotta skip. You gotta skip the whole beginning with Jesse, because it gets to a certain point and then he starts grilling him. It's super funny. But and if you want to get grilled by somebody, can it be sexual to grill? I don't know. I feel like that doesn't really work. Anyway, go adamandeve.com. Go to adamandeve.com. Enter code word Brentley at checkout to get 50% off almost any one item. 6 free movies, 3 free gifts, and free shipping on the whole order. Go to adamandeve.com and get your butt some stuff. All right, chill. I gotta wrap it. But hey, you should go to adamandeve.com, enter that code word Brentley at checkout. Or, you know, you can support us by supporting our sponsor, adamandeve.com. I'm sorry, I already did that. Hold on. Wait, no, but if you want to support us, you can become a patron at patreon.com/Apostate. You get a one-time payment, or you could do a one-time payment. you get a one-time. No, you could do a one-time payment if you want on Cash App with their cash tag Apostate. But the best bang for your buck is becoming a member, right? Because you got there's a lot of live streams that go straight to members as soon as they're done being live. If you get lucky, you can catch it when it's live, but otherwise, it goes just to members. So if you want access to all the lives, as well as live streams that are just for members only, become a member, right? Hit that join button. It's worth it, I promise. It's there's a lot of good stuff. Plus, there's videos on there that are just for you. That there's also ones that you get early. There's just all sorts of crap. So yeah, become a member and get all that. Also, if you was forgetting, you want to hit that like button, I'd appreciate it. It really means the world to me if you can hit that like button. But back to the thing. Anyway, if you also want to email me, my email is punkapostate@gmail.com. You can join our Discord, and you can, to interact that way as well. Or you can follow me on all the socials, and all the links will be below. But hey, the main thing is to stay logical, loving, skeptical, and compassionate. And we will see you next time.